Hey everyone, it's Noah from Knights of 67, and this was the scene outside Siege of Orgrimmar entrance as Blizzard was just about to release the first boss available for testing on the PTR, the Fallen Protectors. The Fallen Protectors may be the first boss that was available for testing, but it will actually be the second boss in the raid come launch. It was a very, very interesting fight, and I have plenty of coverage for you guys. We didn't manage to down it or even get that far into the fight as a whole, but there is enough there explained mechanical wise and enough footage overall to give you guys a general understanding of how the fight will go. Obviously, certain things will have to get tuned down, as most things when they are first available for testing are extremely tuned, very, very high. And most guilds out there weren't able to down a single boss, except for hardcore elitist guilds, which were actually saying that the boss was too easy. So yeah, not good. um, but besides that, it was very, very interesting, and it was a very, very fun time indeed. So here we are making our way up the stairs to where the Fallen Protectors lie. The Fallen Protectors are members of the Golden Lotus, as you can tell by their names, and the location of this fight is right in between the two Mogu statues that are now destroyed in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms that is now destroyed. And check that sky effect. Very cool. That goes over the whole zone here. Very cool. Obviously to close off the rest of the Vale, but very, very cool. The sky looks epic. And what we're standing on now is actually a door that's leading outside of the left Mogu statue, which is very, very cool. So I'll go ahead and I will let Az explain the fight mechanics here in a moment.
Set tactics. Well, the set tactics that we're looking to go down, the three protectors at 66% and 33%, they'll do something called desperate measures, where they're going to call down spirits up above. Now, yeah, somebody had a. If you've got your sound on, guys, in the raid, turn it off, otherwise it's going to reverb through to everybody in the streams, apart from Quellrick, of course. What we've decided we're going to have a crack at doing is we're going to pick a target and we're going to single target DPS it down to 66% and force its desperate measures ability. We'll kill the desperate measures ads, then we move to our second target, DPS that down to 66%, force it to do desperate measures, kill that. Then the third target, DPS that down to 33%, force it to do desperate measures, kill that. If that all goes according to plan, we're then going to return back to target number one, DPS it down to 33%, which is going to force desperate measures to occur again. Sort that out. Second target, 33%. Third target, 33%. Take care of all the desperate measures. If we're lucky enough to get through to that, then what we'll do is we're then going to DPS them evenly from there on in down to 0. Because if one gets to 0, 1%, and the others aren't around there, it'll heal it up by 20%, which we don't want. So it's single target all the way through to 33%, and then we're going to spread the damage and try and kill them all at the same time after that, if everything goes according to plan. Right. I've flashed up as well. So we're going to go with He Softfoot as the first target. Sun is the second target. That scared me. And the third target is going to be Rook. Oh, baby! That's the cat. Right, guys. So we might as well just get into it.
So with
Let's see what we
that,
can do.
we enter the fight for the first time. A very, very exciting thing. So, as you heard, Az explain a very interesting concept of DPSing the bosses each to 66%, forcing each of their respected desperate measures abilities, which is an embodied ad that we must DPS down with about 27 million health. I would imagine that it would get nerfed down come launch, but there's no guarantee on that. Each boss has 119 mil, and you will know when they hit 66% because their Desperate Measures ability will become up, and the boss that you are currently attacking will no longer be attackable until the ad is down. But the other two bosses that are up will continue to do their abilities, and therein lies the challenge. Because Sun Tender Heart does Shot Seer, which is an interruptible beam that she'll put on a player, but we couldn't interrupt it on the PTR because it was very glitchy, and as soon as you interrupted her, she would cast it again. So we couldn't manage to do that. She will also put Shadow Word Bane on a target, and this needs to be dispelled as quickly as possible. The way we handled it was we just shouted out our name in TeamSpeak that we had the debuff, and the healers got to it in relatively no time at all in most cases. So now you see we have forced the Embodied Anguish with 26 million health. It moves very quickly, and it will put Mark of Anguish on its selected target, which will cause it to rush towards that player. They will get an extra action button on their screen, and if you target a nearby player with it, you can move the Embodied Anguished onto that party member. This is going to be rotated numerous times around until the ad is dead. Rinse and repeat with the other two who have slightly different Embodied Anguished characteristics, but obviously since we didn't get that far, can't really go too into depth about that. You want to watch out for Rook's Stone Toes kick, which is why you don't want to stay stacked for this fight. Now, the debuff I just got was Garrot. It looks like a gouge move. It does 72k damage about every 1 to 2 seconds. As far as I'm concerned, it is non-dispellable, and on the PTR, it had no limit. It would just stay on you the whole fight. I would imagine that would get fixed as well, but that, as far as I'm concerned, just needs to be healed through. Shadow Word Bane, however, like I mentioned, ticks for 100k every couple seconds, and that needs to be dispelled as quickly as possible, or it will obviously damage up. Now here I get both Garrot debuff and Shadow Word Bane debuff, and I get damaged very, very quickly, but the healers do a great job of keeping me up, and it's a simplistic fight at heart. Like, you read it and you see the mechanics and you go, oh, how hard could that be? But it is very difficult, especially the way it was tuned when we tested it, because of the other two bosses keeping their abilities up, interrupting, doing all that good stuff. It is very difficult indeed, as well as a gouge move that the tanks need to worry about as well. So tons of damage going out. So again, the Embodied Anguish goes out again this time, and it does move very, very quickly, and every DPS needs to be on it, while the tanks still manage to maintain, because as far as I'm concerned, since the Embodied Anguish does Mark of Anguish on random players, it is non-tauntable. You just need to keep bringing it to other players, and if you, I believe, at least it was happening with us on the PTR, if you do it to the person right next to you, it will make their extra action button on cooldown, and they can't get the ad off of them right away, which is very important. So you don't want to target the person right next to you. I put a tank on focus target later on, is what I did, and that seemed to work pretty well. So that's all the attempts we managed to get in. Overall, it went pretty well, but we really didn't get past that part. But afterwards, we went exploring. exploring, and we just went around the raid to see what it would look like. Obviously, they didn't have trash up because they just wanted, they just wanted people to test the fights, but we wanted to go exploring, and after every encounter, we did this too, which is awesome. So we just go through the places to see what's going on. Very intriguing indeed. So obviously, all of this will be trash that will need to be cleared. Annoying trash. I would imagine it would be annoying trash. But overall, the fight was very fun, and even though we couldn't get very far in it, it certainly seemed like a worthwhile fight. Now, I believe this is where the third boss is going to be held, right here in this room. So again, it was a very, very fun time. The fight was awesome, but it was very, very hard, so we couldn't get very far into it. So that's it for today, I suppose. I'll try and get the next raid boss video up, Korkron Dark Shaman, sometime later tomorrow. That fight was very fun indeed, but it had a twist to it that made it a lot more difficult than it probably should have been. Definitely, the Fallen Protectors is the hardest fight we've experienced so far on the PTR. It was very, very difficult indeed. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative enough. It gave you enough of a guideline of what to do. And I will see you guys next time.